Welcome back to the British Rallycross Championship at Lydden Hill, and making their way to the track for the spectators' pleasure right now are the supercars. Now, last year's championship was won by Julian Godfrey, literally in the final race of the season, and he was the defending champion. Guess what? He's defending again to try and make it 3 championships in a row. Julian, you're going for 3 in a row. How does that feel?
It feels real good. I'm fairly confident to try and do 3 in a row. I don't think any other British driver has done it 3 in a row before, so I'm going to be hopefully try the first one to do it.
I remember talking to you this time last year saying you're going for 2 in a row, and you were like, yeah, I'm confident, but I don't think it'll be doable.
Yeah, but no, last year went very well. It was a fight with Pat right to the very end, so it was down to the last round. We're very, very close, and I think this year is going to be the same. We'll be fighting all the way to the end.
So Julian is the reigning champion in the supercars category, but just what is it that makes a supercar so special? Let's find out. You know, we've heard the name supercar bandied about, but what is it?
Well, basically, it's from a production car shell, then the shell is completely modified, turned into four-wheel drive. You can either have the engine inline or transverse, but four-wheel drive, and then you're allowed to have turbocharged as well, which really restricts it to about 550 horsepower, but we really work on the torque of the cars, and we're up to sort of 900, 950 newton meter torque from the engines.
How would it feel versus, you know, me just driving around in a normal car?
Well, it's much faster than anything on the road. They do 0 to 60 in just about 2 seconds, and from 0 to 100 in around about 4.5 seconds. It does really sit you back in the old seat, and it is good thrill for off the line, especially when you have 8 supercars going off the line all at once. It is quite a buzz.
So let's talk about the price for one of these things, because people might sort of think, oh, well, you know, I could buy a Focus ST and, you know, that cost me 20 odd grand. How much will one of these be?
Well, you can buy a second-hand one, so a 3 or 4 year old one, somewhere between 100 and 150,000 pounds. But to build a brand new one, you are looking around about 250,000.
These supercars really are the pinnacle of British Rallycross. We'll get to the final in just a minute, but let's have a look at what happened in the heats. It was drama right from the off in the first heats after a coming together between Duran in his Citroën DS3 and Rolfsson in his Impreza. Things got worse for the Subaru driver as he then lost traction at the North Bend and slid into the barrier. Andris Bakarud was the next driver to have some drama, losing control at one of the fastest points of the track. He slid onto the wet grass and from that point on became a real passenger as he spun across the grass. Belgian driver Jochen Kuks was out in his stunning Volkswagen Scirocco and setting a good pace until he was forced to pull over as he came out of the chicane. It was noticed that there were flames licking from underneath the car. Cooks, understandably, was out of the car very quickly, popped the bonnet, and then he could see that the situation was actually much, much worse than at first he thought. And unfortunately, that was to put him out for the day, as the marshals brilliantly dealt with the fire. Meanwhile, into another titanic battle was Pat Duran and Andy Grant, battling all the way to the flag, with Duran just getting the nod. And also here at Lydden this weekend is Andreas Bakarud. We saw him have a little spin early on, and he was behind the wheel of another DS3. He managed to cross the line first in his heat and got a great position in the A final as a result. Reigning champ Godfrey had some stiff opposition in the form of Kevin Proctor, who in turn was fighting with Belgian Jos Kuipers. Proctor came off worse as he was forced onto the grass and over the wall. Meanwhile, Godfrey was setting a great pace, but he was hounded all the way by Jos Janssen. That is until Janssen lost control at the devil's elbow and spun out. He's just one of the Belgians out here at Lydden. Also fighting hard and pleasing the crowd is Koen Pauwels in his Focus and Patrick van Mechelen in his Fiesta. So after some tough battles within the heats, it was on to the B final, which would see the winner move onto the back of the grid for the A final. As the lights went out, Andy Grant made an absolutely flying start. And as the pack split, it was Mad Mark Watson who led the way until he ran wide and Pat Duran took over the lead. Meanwhile, Watson in his Zara was pushed back into a battle with the Volvo S40 piloted by Will Turlings. And as the two battled hard, not far behind was Andy Grant. Grant getting great momentum through the left-hander here at the Devil's Elbow. And in an incredibly late piece of braking, slicing past Mad Mark Watson and immediately getting on the back of Will Turlings. As the final lap started, Pat Duran took his joker lap. And as he went off on the longer route, Andy Grant rounded Chesson's Drift. Fast though he was, Duran emerged from his joker lap just ahead of the Focus driver. And it is the 3 times champion who looks very much in command of the B final. Sweeping through the left-hander and then into the last corner. It's Pat Duran who wins the B final, and with that will take his place on the back of the A final. So this is the one that we've all been waiting for, the Supercar A final, starting on pole position as a result of 2 heat wins. It's Andreas Bakkerud, alongside him will be Jos Kuipers, who took the win in heat 1. And then the current British champion, Julian Godfrey, will be aiming to pick up where he left off with victory at the end of last year. And who's going to get the best of start? 4-wheel drive, punches away, less than 3 seconds up to 60 miles an hour. Less than 5 seconds up to 100 miles an hour. We ride on board with always Andreas Bakkerud, a big step up from the Super 1600 category that he's been champion in. Moving into the LD racing team, driving alongside Liam Duran in the European Championship, and here at Lydden Hill to practice for the European round that's coming very, very soon. But it's all Ford Focuses at the front. It's the new car of Kuipers just ahead of car of Koen Pauwels, and then Kevin Proctor. Proctor taking a win in the European Championship last year, so really very much a man that knows all about success at this level. And right on the back of that is Bakkerud, working the wheel very, very hard. Liam Duran here in attendance. I'm sure he's very frustrated. He wants to be out there driving, but he's watching his dad and his teammate out there having some fun. There is Pat Duran, the 3 times British champion, ahead of the man who's trying to get 3 British championships on the trot. That's Julian Godfrey. Look how sideways Proctor gets as he comes off of his joker lap. Is he going to be able to maintain momentum around the outside? No, he's not. He ducks in behind Godfrey as they break into the left-hander at the Devil's Elbow. Now watch for the drive up the hill. Godfrey, the man from East Sussex, not a million miles away from Lydden. He is the engine builder of all engine builders. Builds the engines for a lot of the drivers in the championships, both in the British and the European series. Rallycross FX, as it's going to be called. Now, let's watch to see what's happening a little bit further ahead. You can see the problems the drivers have with visibility. Well, the opening round of the British Championship in 2012 was a bright, sunny day. The opening round of the European Championship was even wetter than this, if you can believe it. So the drivers know both extremes. As you see there, Pauwels taking his joker lap, coming back just behind the car of Kevin Proctor, proudly displaying the Union flag on the roof. Meanwhile, a little bit further ahead, Kuipers under pressure now from the 2 DS3s. Well, Bakkerud and Duran, a bit of contact there, was there? I think there was, perhaps. Godfrey getting pushed a little bit wide. Proctor keeping his foot hard down. Meanwhile, Bakkerud now is ahead of Kuipers. And immediately Duran smoking hard. Well, he finished a very close second to Liam Duran, and there's a problem there for Bakkerud. It looks like the Norwegian is out. Frustration for him. Well, British Championship not his main focus this year. The European Series is. So if he's going to have a problem, it's better to have it this weekend. Meanwhile, Kuipers goes around the outside, takes his joker lap, as does Duran. Now let's watch where they come out relative to Proctor, to Godfrey and to Pauwels. And it's very, very tight, isn't it? Look at this punching up the hill. You can see all of the drivers struggling for traction and grip. Really fighting the cars. All of that 550 horsepower that Julian Godfrey was talking about earlier on being used as they use all 4 wheels to drive the cars here, of course. Although these cars resemble World Rally cars, are very different in the way that they use the power. A lot more power, almost twice the power of the World Rally cars they resemble. Yellow flag being waved. I think that's for that car there of Bakkerud, who's still on board. Still maybe trying to get the car started, or if not, certainly trying to get out. Meanwhile, it's a win for Kevin Proctor. He takes the opening round of the British Championship ahead of Godfrey. There is a frustrated Andreas Bakkerud, but not frustrated and elated. Kevin Proctor, what a superb drive by that man. And this is what the results look like. Proctor wins it by just 1.37 seconds ahead of Godfrey, Kuipers and Poels are our top four, with Duran, Janssen, Van Mechelen finishing in the top 7 and Bakkerud not finishing.
That, to me, was like the ultimate advert for British Rallycross. That just had a bit of everything, didn't it?
Yeah. There was a lot of good luck, nothing better than good management. But yeah, it was good fun.
How did it feel to be part of it? Were you on edge the whole time, or did you get any time to relax into the race?
Not at all. My man on the radio said to me before the start, "How are you feeling?" I said, "A little nervous," and I think I was like that all the way around.
If I offered you the chance to do it all again right now, would you take it?
If there's a beer in the fridge, I'd much rather go and have a drink.
Real muddy out there. Couldn't see a great deal, but had a good race with Kevin. Kevin was a little bit hard on me, a bit of pushing in the side, but apart from that, everything else went very, very well.
So after the first round of the championship, it's Proctor who leads by 3 points ahead of Godfrey, Duran, Andy Gron and Rolfson in 5th position.
Quite simply, wow, what a race. If you are new to British Rallycross, what a treat you have just witnessed. And let me tell you, this is just the start of the season. With races like that, you're sure to be coming back for more. It's been an incredible weekend here at Lydden Hill. And next up, we're at Mallory Park. I have every confidence we'll see you there.